Welcome to the 2010 inaugural ceremony for the Council of the City of Kitchener. I would first like to thank the double take duo who has been playing for us this evening, Alexandra and Michaela Johns, and maybe we could say thank you. I invite everyone to remain standing for the O Canada. We have Suzanne Doyle with us this evening. Suzanne is a Kitchener folk singer, musician, songwriter, and artist, and she is going to be playing O Canada for us.
Singing. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Will be playing for us later. I'd now like to call upon Myrta Rivera. Myrta is the chaplain at St. Mary's Hospital, and she has had been previously to that the executive director of the KW Multicultural Center for some 18 years. And she is no stranger to us in this community, and so I would invite Myrta to now bring some reflections for us.
Before I start, I want all of us to consider that on the 6th of December, 21 years ago, for us, whether we're male or female, children or aged, life became a little more painful, and we lost some innocence. We will not have a moment of silence, but we will have a rededication of our hearts and of our work to constantly remember those women who didn't have a chance to grow and to enjoy the benefits of life in Canada. I continue to be impressed by the number of languages spoken in this city. I'm also aware of the diversity of faith and spiritual traditions present here, and of our citizens' longing for hope, clarity, and justice. Tonight's meditation, then, contains musings about language and hope. As you work in this chamber and in this community, I invite you, members of council, to remember that words have power, but that once they're spoken, they can't be retrieved easily. Some words obscure, flatter, deceive. Other words, though short, inspire, uphold, and build up. The empire around us seeks to dazzle us by offering the most exciting, magical, exclusive, spectacular, advanced, guaranteed, potentially profitable information. The folks who live in this, our city, and who work here, long to hear something else. The words they long to hear have no magic, but they do have power. Words such as we, work, kids, poor, home, save, spend, hope, tax, true, false, build, safe, share, park, ask. These are clear, true English words. They may have been among the first words when we first ventured to speak, before we learned to procrastinate, to prevaricate, and to mesmerize. It is up to you now what you will choose to say and do in the next 4 years. And now, I commend you and our city to a creative, eternal, and just power who is both parent and friend, and who is much more than we could ever hope or imagine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Myrta. Those words will ring true with us for the 4 years, I'm sure. Thank you again. Now I'd like to call upon the Honourable Mr. Justice P.J. Flynn to preside over the declaration of the elected offices.
Before I give each of you your declaration of office, I should just like to begin with these remarks. The city, of course, is the pinion of Western civilization. Its councillors are engaged in the democratic exercise most closely seen and felt by its citizens. At the end of my declaration officiating, I will have a blessing for this House of the citizens' democracy. And I have 2 aphorisms from stalwarts, giants of civilization, for you to think about as you're taking your oath. First, from Michelangelo, in the English, of course. If people only knew, he said, how hard I worked to gain my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful at all. And from another stalwart of Western civilization, from my daddy's own land, George Bernard Shaw, who said, man can climb the highest summits, but he cannot dwell there long. Mr. Zehr, would you read the declaration?
I, Carl Zehr, having been elected to the office of Mayor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Your Mayor. I'll call the councillors in their ward order, starting with my own ward, Ward 1, Scott Davey. Would you please read the declaration?
I, Scott Davey, having been elected to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Barry Vrbanovic.
I, Barry Vrbanovic, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Vrbanovic. John Gazzola.
I, John Gazzola, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Gazzola. Just leave it on that. Thank you. Yvonne Fernandes.
I, Yvonne Fernandes, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this promise, solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Fernandes. Kelly Galloway.
I, Kelly Galloway, have been elected to the office of Councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Galloway. Paul Singh.
I, Paul Singh, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make the solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Singh.
Thank you.
Bill Ioannidis.
I, Bill Ioannidis, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Janecki.
I, Janecki, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in another improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, or the reigning sovereign, for the time being. And I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as it made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Ioannidis. Frank Etherington.
I, Frank Etherington, having been elected to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please? Councillor Etherington. Just put it back there. Thank you very much. Daniel Glenn Graham.
I, Daniel Glenn Graham, having been elected or appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of Kitchener, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, or reigning sovereign, for the time being. And I will make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Would you sign it, please?
I'd be happy to.
Just leave it there. Thank you. I told you at the beginning that I had a blessing. It comes from that land across the sea too. As simple. May the roof of this place never fall in, and those of you underneath it never fall out. Ladies and gentlemen, your mayor and council.
Thank you, Justice Flynn. Felt it was important for each member of council, but particularly since there are a few more new councillors than we are normally accustomed to have each one take the declaration as we did this evening. Now, as a little bit of a break from that business, we are going to have a little bit of a musical interlude from Suzanne Doyle. Suzanne.
I may have to raise this a little bit. There we go. I'm good. Thank you. I'm glad that the last statement was said because I feel my song is very appropriate. It's called The House You Live In. I looked very hard for something appropriate, I guess, and I figured Gordon Lightfoot was about as appropriate as you could get. So I wanted to do Canadian Railroad Trilogy, but we didn't have time, I was told. So I had to scale it down. Go first in the world, go forth with your fears. Remember, a price must be paid. Be always too soon and never too fast at the time. All bets must be laid. Beware of the darkness, be kind to your children. Remember the woman who waits. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger who stands at your gate. When you're caught by the gale and you're under full sail, beware of the dangers below. And the song that you sing should not be too sad, and be sure not to sing it too slow. Be calm in the face of all common disgraces and know what they're doing it for. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger who stands at your door. And when you're out on the road, feeling quite lost, consider the burden of fame. And he who is wise will not criticize when other men fail at the game. And beware of strange faces in dark, dingy places. Be careful while bending the laws. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger who stands at your door. And when you're down in the dumps, not ready to deal, decide what it is that you need. Is it money or love? Is it learning to live? Or is it the mouth you must feed? Be known as a man who will always be candid on questions that do not relate. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger who stands at your gate. The house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger who stands at your gate.
Thank you very much. We can't get more quintessential than Gordon Lightfoot. We'll now move on with the business of the evening, and this is the report of the striking committee. And for those of you who have the programs, this is the committee appointments, which are in the yellow programs. There are two motions. Councillor Vrbanovic, the first one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Yvonne Fernandes, that Clause 7 of the Striking Committee report be amended to read that the schedule attached to Corporate Services Department Report CRPS-10-173, dated November 15th, 2010, be approved as the 2011 schedule of Council and Standing Committee meetings, save and except that the budget meeting scheduled for February 10th, 2011 be moved to February 11th, 2011.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. That's a good thing. Councillor Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Frank Etherington that the report of the Striking Committee of this date be adopted as amended.
Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. I should note that there may be some minor changes that may have to be made to deal with some conflicts of meeting times for some councillors, but we will deal with that probably on December 13th. Again, good evening and welcome to tonight's historic inaugural celebration, where we will be witnessing, as your invitation read, history in the making. I also want to thank all of you for braving the weather tonight. I know that some people, including members of my family from out of town, have been unable to make it due to weather conditions. I also want to recognize in the audience tonight a member of Provincial Parliament for Kitchener Centre, John Malloy, and our Regional Chair, Ken Sealing. I said a moment ago that tonight is history in the making. Tonight, 7 new councillors and 3 returning councillors who are brimming with energy have taken their declaration of office. For the first time in our collective memories, Kitchener Council has a majority of new faces around the horseshoe. I can tell you that because of this, I'm excited to work together on behalf of the more than 230,000 citizens we will serve. It's an honor to address you tonight as the Mayor of Kitchener. I was humbled once again to receive the trust and the confidence of the people of Kitchener in the recent election. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to continue to serve as mayor. Thanks also to all the candidates who participated in the municipal election. It takes courage and commitment to put your name on a ballot. Once again, despite the excellent slate of candidates, our voter turnout remained too low, improving by only 3% over the 2006 results. Generally speaking, though, our citizens are very engaged in the life of our community, and I hope that in future elections the turnout will be more reflective of this. To the councillors who have just left this horseshoe, Christina Wiley, John Smola, and Jeff Lawrence, thank you. Thank you for your dedication, hard work, and lengthy service on behalf of our citizens, and I believe that they deserve an applause. Congratulations and welcome to our new councillors, Scott Davey, Frank Etherington, Yvonne Fernandes, Dan Glenn Graham, Bill Ioannidis, Zig Janecki, and Paul Singh. And of course, welcome back to our 3 returning councillors, Kelly Galloway, John Gazzola, and Barry Vrbanovic. From our initial discussions, I know all of you are looking forward to advancing issues of particular interest to you, as well as working collectively on behalf of our broader community. In the words of the great industrialist, Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. And I look forward to achieving much success with you. I would also like to warmly welcome all of our family members and friends to tonight's historic celebration. Your support and understanding are critical to our ability to serve as mayor and council. Personally, I would like to once again thank my family, and in particular my wife Sandy, for your understanding of the demands of my position. Sandy, not only are you my strongest supporter, you are my best critic and trusted advisor. Thank you all. In preparing for tonight's ceremony, I reflected on my previous inaugural addresses, and in particular, I reviewed the first address I gave as the newly minted mayor in 1997, when I was a little younger, a little less gray on top, but as enthusiastic and energetic as I am today. In 1997, I said, and I quote, "It's really not the mayor's vision that counts at all. It's what our vision is, all the people. It's what we believe Kitchener is and can be. As mayor, it's my job to draw that vision out, to bring it to life, and to make us feel good about who we are and where we live." I believe that that still holds true, and over the past 13 years, we have done exactly that. In 1999, Council launched the largest and most inclusive public engagement process in our city's history, as we set out to understand our community and our collective vision. We started by defining our vision, and I quote again, "Together, we will build an innovative, caring, and vibrant Kitchener with safe and thriving neighborhoods." Then you told us about your priorities for our community. You wanted to be engaged and show leadership in your community, and you did that through your active participation. You wanted an improved quality of life with an energized downtown, a more diverse community with a variety of activities to pursue, learning, exploring new cultures, and an active, vibrant arts, culture, and leisure scene. You wanted new economic growth and employment opportunities to attract new talent to our community. You wanted an increased focus on our environment with more trails, parks, and cycling paths. And you wanted to take a leadership role with respect to environmental sustainability and to reducing our ecological footprint. As I see it, as Council moves forward, we need to respect our community's priorities and vision and use them as the foundation on which to make our decisions. This isn't about us as a council. It's about us as a community. Over the next 4 years, challenges will present themselves. However, these priorities and vision give us the foundation and the focus needed to make important decisions about the future of our community. As a wise person once said, "We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust our sails." While the worldwide economic turmoil of the past 2 years has been challenging for our community, Kitchener continued to move forward, and true to our roots and our vision, we have thrived, seized new opportunities, and welcomed innovation. Think of the strategic opportunities we have developed over the past years to diversify our economy. The health sciences cluster, the digital media cluster in the tannery, including Communitech, Desire to Learn, and Google, while continuing to support innovation in our vital manufacturing cluster with the creation of the Manufacturing Innovation Network. Without a long-term community vision, those investments would not have been possible. Coupled with the recently announced GO train service, transit hub, and a future LRT, these new investments are literally changing the face of our city and adding strength to our local economy that simply was not there before. Our economic development strategy and our community's focus on investing in our downtown have been balanced and continued investments in our suburbs. Over the past decade alone, we have built or upgraded the LEED Gold certified Activa Sportsplex, Sports World Crossing, Twin Pad, constructed or expanded community centers in the Chandler Mowat, Kingsdale, Victoria Hills, Williamsburg, and Stanley Park neighborhoods, developed a new fire station on Huron Road, continued to develop the Huron Natural Area, and redeveloped McLennan Park and provided infrastructure connected by parks and trails to support our many new neighborhoods. Truly, we have done a great deal across the breadth of our city for the benefit of all citizens. We have been strategic and have invested in a sustainable manner. We can all be proud of the fact that these investments were accomplished while maintaining one of the lowest property taxes of similar-sized cities in the province. While considering these significant investments, please also remember this fact. Municipal governments deliver numerous services, programs, and activities with only 8 cents of every tax dollar collected by all orders of government. Think about that. The community centers and arenas we and our children use, the workers who plow our roads, the firefighters who respond to emergencies, the trails we enjoy, and the parks where we play, plus many more services are provided using only 8 cents of every tax dollar you and I pay. Those who know me understand that I am passionate about the role municipalities play in the lives of our citizens. We know that municipalities are the economic engine of our country. We also know that receiving just those 8 cents of a tax dollar is not a sustainable financial model for Kitchener or any other Canadian municipality. This is why I believe that we need to work cooperatively with other orders of government to ensure that they acknowledge the need for change to the funding mechanisms for municipalities. I will say tonight, as I have said before, in order to balance their budgets, the federal and provincial governments must not, as has been done in the past, download services and programs onto the backs of municipalities. Municipalities are underfunded. There's no question about this, but let me be clear. Canadians cannot afford to pay significantly more taxes. We need a new and innovative way to allocate existing taxes, be they income taxes, sales taxes, or property taxes. However, until that mechanism is in place, we have a responsibility to create a sustainable budget to ensure the long-term health of our community. I would remind you of the hard lessons we learned in a previous era when decisions were made in municipalities across the province with short-term thinking rather than with the benefit of a longer-term vision. As a council, I believe we need to develop the will and the foresight to avoid making decisions that may benefit our citizens only in the short term, but which do not fit with our established long-term strategic vision for our community. Such decisions often lead and result to greater costs in the future. As mayor and as a community citizen, I realize that we have to balance the need for fiscal responsibility with our ethical, legal, and societal responsibilities to our community. We will strive to fulfill those obligations, remembering that despite the success of our community, unfortunately, many remain in need in Kitchener and across our region. Therefore, we will work collectively to ensure that the decisions we are making are the right decisions, the best decisions in the short term and the long term. As the largest city in the region, I believe it is incumbent upon us, while always acting in the best interests of Kitchener citizens, to consider the interests of our neighbors as well. Kitchener is a community that strives to achieve a broad vision, one that looks beyond our municipal boundaries to what's best for our entire region. While I had hoped for a different result on the referendum question regarding discussions with the City of Waterloo, we will continue to work cooperatively with all of our neighbors. Again, and more specifically, to you as councillors, after 22 rewarding years in municipal politics, I still enjoy the opportunity to serve and to represent our community. It is my hope that as we embark on this new council term together, you will find satisfaction in serving the public and working with our community. I look forward to working together with you on behalf of the citizens of Kitchener. And finally, to select a quote from the City of Kitchener's strategic plan. We will work together because success depends on all of us. History in the making, it starts tonight. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate together. I'll now call for a motion for the reading of the bylaws. Councillor Glenn Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been moved by myself, seconded by Councillor B. Ioannidis, that leave be given the mover and seconder to introduce the following bylaws for 3 readings, and that the same be taken as read a first, second, and third time, be finally passed and numbered serially by the clerk. A, being a bylaw to amend Bylaw 93-191, respecting the appointment of an acting mayor. B, being a bylaw to amend Chapter 25 of the Municipal Code with respect to procedure. C, to confirm all actions and proceedings of the council.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And that ends the formal part of our meeting, or close to it. I want to make one announcement that we will have a reception, as probably most of you know, in the main floor rotunda immediately following this meeting. And the music downstairs will be provided by Tim Lewis, another local artist. And I've had the pleasure of hearing Tim before, and I think you will all enjoy his music while we are having some fun with our friends and celebrating this evening and the inauguration of this council. Councillor Janecki.
It has been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Paul Singh that this inaugural meeting of City Council be adjourned.
All in favor? Opposed? That too is a good thing. It's carried. Enjoy the rest of the evening.